UFC 322 is in the books. Makhachev makes history. Valentina Shevchenko continues her dominance, and 3 brutal knockouts on the main card. And we'll also be looking forward to the fight night card next week, where Ian Machado Gary takes on Bilal Muhammad and Sarukian takes on Hooker. It's your favorite show, people. MMA from London to LA. The Professor, the Sandman. Let's get into this. Yeah, I thought you'd like it.
I love that. I love the graphic. We both look so good.
Hello, lovely people. I hope you're all well. Do smash the like button, subscribe to both channels as well. Colin, Mr. Professor, how are you doing, bro?
Doing great. I am fantastic, Cal. I'm always glad to join you, man. You're amazing. Not only an amazing talent in MMA, great combat mind, sports mind, and everything else. You look great, great sense of humor, fantastic person. But your knowledge of putting amazing graphics together is incredible. Love that great photo of you and I both looking sharp as a tack. And you got Professor and the Sandman. Go ahead and fill everyone in on that.
Indeed, indeed. So that is our nickname. Like the Professor, obviously, Colin has been doing this for decades now.
And I'm old
in the game. One of the best in the game. And the Sandman is a name that has been. You know, you're not the only person who calls me that. A few of my friends who I play football with, they call me Sandman as well because my surname's Sanderson.
Yes.
But obviously, you call me that as well. And there's so many different people who call Sandman, but Sandman Sanderson's got a nice little ring to it as well. So
I love it.
I tell you what's got a nice ring to it though, Colin. 2-weight world champion, and that is Islam Makhachev. And a lot of people speculate going into this fight saying that it'd be a really tough fight for him, anything but. And I'm not that surprised, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling about Islam Makhachev and his dominant performance against JDM?
You know, here's what it is. As MMA journalists as we are, and we're both huge fans as well, you can't help but admire a dominant performance from a great champion against a really good opponent. So no shade on that at all. As an MMA journalist, you know, there's not a lot to describe when something like that happens because it's pretty all one-way traffic, one-sided. As a fan, though, quite disappointing. You know, as a fan, we love to see back and forth, right?
Yeah.
I remember when I was very young and I got into boxing many decades ago,
Yeah.
I used to get so frustrated because like 75% of the fights might be competitive for a brief, you know, round or so in boxing, which would mean half a round in MMA or whatever. And then it stops and becomes all one-way traffic. And it used to be so frustrating unless it was a fighter that I really liked. But you realize that's kind of the way it is. The fighters are downloading each, you know, a bunch of intel and they, you know, figuring out the range and the distance and the timing. And then one of them figures this out and it's like, all right, I got this. And they pretty much do. But still, even the fact that 75%, and I'm pulling the statistics out of who knows where, but generally I think I'm close. Even though 75% of the fights end up going one way, it's so exciting to see those 25% of fights that are back and forth, right?
Yeah.
You love to see that, just like the movie Rocky, just back and forth versus Rocky, and then Apollo starts taking over, and then Rocky comes back, you know, and then the same thing with Adonis and so on like that. You know, as a fan, it was a little bit discouraging. You basically saw, you know, what did someone say, 50 minutes of control time in the final 2 fights. Yeah. All 25 minutes with Shevchenko and all 25 minutes with Islam. So a bit surprised. I thought both fights would be quite competitive. And they weren't. Brilliant performance, though, by the winners in both, and respect to the losers. What do you think?
So I disagree in terms of I didn't think JDM and Makhachev would be very competitive. And I think everyone sort of took on what happened with JDM and Bilal and thought, oh, he can translate that to Makhachev.
Right.
But if you actually watch that fight back with Bilal,
Yeah.
Bilal barely
Big
tried to
difference.
grapple.
Right.
So
That's right.
the times he did try and grapple, obviously he took him down, but JDM was able to scramble. But because it was so late in the fight, because Bilal had already taken so much more damage, it
Right.
wasn't as effective. So, and plus, Bilal is not the same caliber of level as Makhachev either. Like,
No.
Makhachev's a whole other level. So, I actually thought Makhachev would get the finish, but I look, I know a lot of people have been getting onto Craig Jones regarding JDM not being able to get up. I don't think Craig Jones was there to show them how to get up. I think he's there to show them how to stay safe when they're on the ground.
That's exactly it. And you notice he got out of a couple of Darce attempts quite well.
Darce attempts.
And everything else too.
Yeah, so Darce attempts, rear naked chokes,
Yep.
also straight arm bars he tried as well.
Yep.
Kimuras. Like Makhachev, for everything of the control time, he desperately chased the finish quite a lot. But JDM was able to stay safe because of what Craig Jones has taught him.
Yes.
For him to now go to the next level, it is about getting up when he gets taken down. Because a couple of fights ago, so not the Bilal, remember the opponent's name, he got taken down a lot and it went to a split decision. There's an argument to say that he could have even lost that fight, but he won it, obviously got the title shot and then won that as well. So again, I just think Makhachev's wrestling and his grappling is a whole nother level. And look, Khabib will always be seen as the godfather of the Dagestani wrestlers and will always be heralded as number one. For me, I think Makhachev is the evolution of what Khabib was. I think he's
Khabib 2.0, essentially, right?
Striker, more composed in there, less erratic, less aggressive when he needs to be, but also he's got better jiu-jitsu as well. So kudos to the champion, and it'll be interesting to see who he fights next and where JDM goes from here as well.
Yeah. May I ask, who do you feel did better in a losing effort, a JDM or DDP? Or was it about equal?
Oh, geez, that's a tough. I'd probably go DDP because even on the feet, JDM didn't even. I can't remember JDM even landed anything on Makhachev either. And I've always said JDM's not the quickest of punches, but his timing's really good. Yeah. His sharpness, his timing, his speed all seemed really off. So I'd have to go with DDP because DDP he was always trying to get up, even though Hamzat was controlling. But also he also like got a little bit of offense off in the last round as well, whereas JDM didn't even get that going. So yeah, very, very dominant victory fight by Islam Makhachev. I'm upset that a lot of people are calling Makhachev boring, considering he's had so many finishes in the last few years. But it just goes to show how crazy this sport can turn. It was only a couple of months ago people were calling Pereira boring because he didn't beat Ankalaev in his first fight, and then now he's the king of the world again.
Right. Indeed.
Onto the co-main though, Colin.
Yes.
Weili coming up from 125, from 115 to 125 against the most dominant women's champion we've probably seen. And again, came up short just like JDM did. But this one was different because I thought this one would be competitive. And
I really did too.
Weili landed the first strike of the match. I'm thinking, oh, we've got a real fight here because she's quicker than Valentina.
Yeah, well,
but then Valentina she just shut it all down. And grappling was great. Yeah. Even the striking on the feet, she was just timing her to perfection. And Weili looked like she was like defeated after the second round, in my opinion.
She was carrying so much muscle.
Yeah,
I mean, look at those legs and the shoulders. Yeah. I mean, she just looked like she was carrying a lot of muscle. Now, here's what I think. I think 115 is probably a hard cut. She is 36, I think, because Valentina's at 36. 115 is a very hard cut, but she's too small for 125. Well, she's too small against someone like Valentina. Could she be top 10 at 125? Perhaps so.
Yeah, top 10.
But probably and probably a hard time with the top 5. But maybe okay time with the rest. Just carrying a lot of muscle. Like her speed was not there. It looked like it for a minute, but it just wasn't. First of all, going up in weight for the first time, and facing an opponent that's equally as talented as you is a big ask.
Yeah.
Or as you guys would say, a large ask.
Yeah.
And but in the other instance, Islam going up in weight against someone who has lesser talent in one area, the wrestling, is not as a fortuitous occasion. And so, yeah, she wouldn't shoot. I was starting to say shoot for Wei Li, but she just did not have the speed. She didn't want to get caught coming in. Valentina is just an amazing fighter, and Valentina was cautious. Her wrestling is substantially better. I mean, it just seems like since she came back and beat Alexa Grasso, she's really got her wrestling down. Yeah, I was surprised, but Wei Li just got big sistered. Who do you think took less damage? And again, I'm not throwing shade on the winners, but who do you think took less damage, Wei Li or JDM?
Probably JDM, if I'm going to be honest. I know Islam beat up his lead leg with the calf kicks, but Wei Li was taking knees in the clinch. She was spinning back kicks, spinning his back fist, punches, hooks, and straight punches when she was walking in. Kicks to the forearms and to the legs. Valentina, I think I know a lot of people are going to speak about the wrestling, and rightly so, because she did completely subdue her on the ground, but on the feet as well. Wei Li had nothing for her on the feet either. No. Her distance and management is just phenomenal. And Valentina's not a fighter who actually, you don't really see her bouncing her toes. She's quite flat-footed, and that kind of goes against everything that you're taught when you're a striker. But she stands her ground, and she just knows where, as Mighty Mouse calls it, the void. She just knows when someone crosses that distance, I'm going to give them something, so it's going to make them think twice every time. And every time Wei Li got in and tried to do something, she was pivoted off. Footwork was brilliant, and she landed her stuff and got out of harm's way. Every time I watch Valentina, I'm in awe, because I just think who can actually match her skill for skill. And I know she's lost to Nunes, and Nunes is a bigger woman. I just think in terms of skill wise, I think she's more skillful than Nunes. I just think Nunes just has that crazy power.
Yeah, she does, and she's longer, taller. I was talking to some of my friends. I watched the fight also with my wonderful, beautiful girlfriend, and she even asked me. She said, "What would be next for Valentina?" And I thought, Blanchfield looked great, and that could be an interesting matchup for her. Other than that, though, I thought if Kayla Harrison beats Nunes, then I don't think Valentina should look for that fight. But too small. But if Nunes wins that fight, and especially maybe if she really struggles with Harrison, then a super fight with Nunes could be what could be next for Valentina. You know what I mean?
I think, sorry to cut you, I think Natalia Silva could be in with a shout.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. That would be an interesting fight too. She was there in the audience. Her style is very fan unfriendly. All respect to Natalia Silva.
She's a counter puncher, isn't she?
And it's funny because Valentina kind of is a counter puncher to an extent as well. So but so that's my thought. Very sad for. It's just sad for. It was a great payday for Wei Li, and she's a stud. She didn't get hurt badly, but once you put on all that muscle, it's hard to imagine her going back down to 15.
Yes.
But hey, maybe she learned something from this, and maybe she can maybe cut down on the muscle a little bit for the next fight, and maybe she can do something against one of these other girls. I mean, she'd be way undersized against Manon Fior. But maybe the other girls she can maybe do something with. Maybe, who knows? She didn't answer correctly through the interpreter, although I think DC asked twice what the plan was. And I think
she kind of didn't. She didn't really give much away.
Yeah, no. So, but that's my thought there. Overall, 2 dominant performances. One title changed hands, and both shutouts. 50. I don't even remember. Were they all 50-45?
They must have been.
Had to be that, or even a 50-44. Even
had to have been.
But Craig Jones definitely taught him to defend submissions.
Yeah, definitely.
Really good. Yeah, because he just got out of a couple of darces. One of them looked like it was not locked, but was getting locked, and he just moved his body right out of it. I'm sure Jones probably not only taught him well, but like probably got him to promise that you're not going to get submitted. Just don't make me look like bad like that. And probably JDM probably promised him. He probably said, all right, as a fellow Aussie, maybe Jones gave him half price for coaching or something. Just do not get submitted.
I just think if JDM's able to get a great wrestling coach in there who's able to stop the takedowns or find a way of getting back up quickly, then I think he becomes a real problem in that division again. He's already a
Yeah.
problem, but a real problem for those grapplers.
Yeah, the only thing is I can say this, and then let's move on maybe to the next couple fights. But just like the Hamzat fight, both guys kind of won via wet blanket, so to speak. Right? They weren't posturing up enough to get any ground and pound.
Yeah.
Right? And again, I'm not trying to throw shade because I'm a grappler, although I started out as a striker. But I have huge respect for these guys and everything they do, and I love grappling. But it just seemed like both Islam and Hamzat, their thought was, let me just get this done, win this title, don't take risks. And if I try to posture up on this guy, he's going to explode out. And then I have to do all that work again to get him down and possibly get marked up doing it. But on the flip side of it, some fighters, like I always figure anyone can have their opinion, right? You don't have to have been a professional MMA fighter to have an opinion. I do think, though, if you talk trash or if you're too critical and you've never been a fighter, then I don't like that as much. Like some media people will be super critical that never fought or trained. I've trained, but never fought an MMA fight.
Same.
So I'll cite some other fighters. And what they said is that you can do what Hamzat and what Islam did, but why not take a chance? Why not try to get some ground and pound in there? Because if you're throwing some ground and pound, you might get the guy to give up his arm or give up his neck.
Mighty Mouse was brilliant at that.
Right. And then you can make it exciting for the fans, and you could possibly get a submission. But it appears that both Islam and Hamzat were like, nah, not doing that.
Yeah, but you can also understand it because getting the win is the most important thing. You posture up and you get caught with something, or they get up and then you get caught, then everyone's going to go, well, why didn't you wrestle? It's Kamaru Usman.
Yeah.
Remember in his fight with Leon Edwards, the second fight where he gets the head kick knockout?
Yes.
Everyone criticized him, was like, why didn't you just take him down in the 5th round and control him?
Right.
But he wanted to see it out. Bilal Muhammad's another example. Wanted to fight an exciting fight against JDM, ends up losing his belt. So it's a tough one. It
makes sense. You know what? I wonder though. I tell you what, I think Islam would have his hands full with Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yes, I agree. And Kamaru Usman. I think he'd have his hands full with Kamaru Usman as well.
Yes, I really do. So he's got some tough fights coming up. And then Topuria, remind me, who did Topuria beat to win the vacant title?
Charles Oliveira.
That's right. I thought so. And then that was a quick one. Yeah. So Topuria's down there, and now we'll see. But anyway, you want to continue then to the
yes, indeed. Yes. Well, the 3 fights leading up to the co-main and main event were completely different. So we'll start with the featured bout, which was Morales versus Brady. And look, I feel so sorry for Brady, bro. I gotta be honest, because he could have sat out and waited for a title shot. And I always say this: being a company man doesn't always work out for the person being the company man. And he could have sat on his ranking. He could have waited for a title shot, because without it being Makhachev, he would have been next in line for a fight with JDM, in my opinion. Decides to take another fight against Michael Morales, and now ends up being on a losing end and probably has to fight his way back to being in title contention again. But Michael Morales, goodness me, 25 years old. He makes 170. I don't know how, because he looks like 2 weight classes up when he gets back in and rehydrates. But he's almost like the Francis Ngannou of this division. Like, he's not the most technical. He's quite wild, but when he hits people, they just look like they've seen a ghost. And he was, from start to finish, made it look easy.
Absolutely. Well, my girlfriend's background is from Ecuador.
Oh, nice.
So we were cheering Morales. His mom is always there in the audience too.
Yes.
And you saw the Ecuadorian flags there and everything. And I tell you what, though, the man has some wrestling. People don't know. He does have some wrestling experience. And he, at 25 years old, he was so poised. He was making sure to keep his level a little bit low. But the good thing is he's so long, he's so lanky, that even without standing straight up, even crouched down, He still, and here's one thing that you notice he did. Whenever Brady was looking like he was going to level change, pop with that uppercut.
Yes, yeah.
Pop with that uppercut. And his accuracy is really good. His composure is good. He's a big kid. He looked like he was all of like 195 or 200 pounds.
100%.
Yeah, and I like him. I think that. What would you rather see? Well, no, Rachmanov's got to be next, though, right?
Well, I'll be honest. I think there's got to be a bit of a welterweight tournament going on.
There should be. There really should be.
There's got to be a little welterweight tournament.
Yeah, there should be Rachmanov in there. There should be
Morales,
Prates, and then Gary probably.
Yeah, Gary or Bilal. But even the people who have lost, I think JDM and Brady, they could fight each other. Bilal could end up fighting someone else.
Yeah, like a 6-man tournament. They're not really going to do that. So I think the only question is who gets next. Is it it's not going to be JDM off of that performance.
No.
So it's either, and then you would think probably not Bilal because JDM beat him. So who would you rather see next? Shavkat, Morales, or Prates? Probably Shavkat deserves it. Although Morales has an argument after beating Brady like that. I don't think Prates would be next.
But I think Morales is going to be higher ranked than Shavkat because of the injury and his inactivity. Humor me on this one, bro. Because I want to see a tournament and because I think these fighters can all fight for the belt in the future.
Yeah.
I actually think Usman might get the next title shot.
Oh, it's right. Usman even in there. Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because he saved the company when he fought Chimaev and he put up a very good display in that as well. And then he beat Joaquin Buckley. Not to mention he's managed by Ali Abdelaziz as well as Islam Makhachev as well. Makhachev's spoken about it. Kamaru's constantly spoken about it as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Usman gets the next title shot. Former pound for pound versus current pound for pound number one. I wouldn't be surprised if Usman gets the title shot. And then there's a mini tournament between Gary, or the winner of Gary and Bilal, Shavkat, Prates, and Morales. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised either. If you had a choice of seeing Morales next against Islam or seeing Morales versus Prates, which would you rather see?
Oh, from a fan standpoint, Morales versus Prates.
Yes, right. Yes,
that would be crazy. But I also think because of his size and stature, I think that Morales would be a nightmare stylistically for Makhachev.
I think so too. For Makhachev and I think also for Prates. I think he's too young, too big for Prates. He's what, like 8 years younger than Prates.
Yeah.
Although he's not quite in his prime even at 25, and Prates is a beast.
Yeah.
But against Makhachev. I talked to a former top 10 UFC contender shortly in a phone call, and I said, what do you think, Morales against Islam? And he said, he said that Morales is really good, but he said, I just think at 25 he needs a little bit more preparation before Islam, but he said he's very impressed with him. So it's going to be interesting to see who's next, and I would imagine we're going to be at least 4 months away, though. They're going to let Islam get a little rest and heal up like that. And
definitely.
But man, the 170 division is becoming the division now.
It's the division.
Yeah, man.
And we had another knockout in the division again. Someone I didn't want to see get knocked out, especially with him being Jamaican as well, and obviously living in the UK. But Prates was absolutely phenomenal in that second round against Leon Edwards. And I've never seen anyone do that to Edwards before. His first knockout loss in his career. And look, the first round was going perfect. I was like, this is the old Edwards. This is the old Edwards who's able to mix up his techniques and wrestle when he needs to wrestle and strike when he needs to strike. But then he just got caught up in a striking battle. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I love Edwards, it seems as though he's become a reactionary fighter as opposed to a proactive fighter. So he almost waits, and if you wait for someone like Prates, you're going to get flatlined because he hits too hard. And I see him as a mini Alex Pereira. He just hits people and they don't recover.
Yeah, and that accuracy, because you saw Leon had his guard up here like that, pretty much, looking pretty good, and he just went right under it. Came in right under right like a wham.
Yeah, straight
Yeah,
down the pipe. Brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant
yeah,
shot.
yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely.
again, he's such a fan favorite as well. He's a fighting nerd, but he's almost the rebellious one out of the bunch, isn't he?
Yeah,
He
smoking
smokes, he
cigarettes and
drinks,
yeah,
yeah, like
drinks parties. Yeah,
yeah. So he's even though he's a nerd, he's the cool nerd almost,
yeah,
and people love him.
yeah. Do you think UFC would want to derail him or Morales by putting them up against each other? Like it would be a banger of a fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I almost wonder if they would rather not derail either of those guys
The
at
reason
this moment.
I fully get your question. The reason why I don't think they would have a problem putting them in against each other is because if you don't put them in against each other, you'll probably end up putting them in against a grappler, and that will be more likely to derail them.
That's
So
right.
they might look at that and go, let's go for the exciting fight rather
Yeah.
than put them in there with a grappler who could just wet blanket them.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So,
Yeah, I think you're right. That'd be such a great for Morales protest.
bro.
Oh,
If that fight happens, it
yeah.
will feed families for years.
And it should be a main event too. I would think they would deserve a main event.
Yeah,
I
either
mean,
main event or co-main event
or
on a big
co-main.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, at least a co-main. They probably wouldn't make
I
them the
mean,
main.
dare I say, if they went to Brazil, they could do Alex Pereira as the main event and then those two as the co-main.
Yes.
Brazil. That would be
man.
epic.
Although you know what? If you were Morales or his corner or his management team, would you want to go face Prates in Brazil? Because you go to you almost, well, you know what?
Ecuadorian as well, though.
You could go, well, but Ecuador is not a big enough hub, I think, of fighters. Because it'd be great.
Yeah.
But here's what I
No,
think.
as in they're not too far from Ecuador,
Right, that's
whereby
true.
you could
Yeah.
get
Think
friends
all
and
the people,
family come out.
yeah. Although I do think that it almost seems like here's what I think: if it goes to a decision in Brazil, yes, this is no slight on Brazil because if it goes
It's gonna be
wherever it is, if it goes to a decision in someone's home country, usually they get the decision.
Yeah.
The referees just feel, oh, this would be great. Now the referees, the judges,
Yeah.
feel like, oh, the fans will love this. This will be great. This will help further the company. And so, but then Morales doesn't tend to let anybody go the distance really anyway.
No.
But what do you think? If you were Morales' management team or Morales himself, would you agree to fight Prates in Brazil?
Yeah, I'd back him too, and I think it'd be a good experience, win, lose, or draw.
Makes sense. Yeah,
to be in hostile territory at that age with that experience, I think that'd be worth it for him.
that would be good. That would be good.
That'd be quality.
Yeah, you almost wonder though if they show up with the Ecuadorian flags in Brazil when a Brazilian's fighting. They might feel a little.
Brazilians are as territorial as they get. So it could be a bit crazy.
That could be a little bit bad. There's some security there, or maybe the Ecuadorian people would be told just if you show up, don't bring the flag.
Yeah.
It's going to be a brawl, kind of like in the football matches.
Yes, indeed.
Show up
But
with
the atmosphere, I think, would be crazy though. It'd be great.
It would be amazing. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. And then the
onto
first
the
card.
opening fight. Obviously, we had the pleasure of interviewing. Thanks to you, we got the pleasure of interviewing him last week.
Thanks.
Didn't have the greatest of fight weeks. Obviously missed weight, which is unlike him, only the second time in his career.
Yeah.
But unfortunately has a devastating KO loss as well, 16 seconds in, and he looked as though he was getting to BSD really early with the leg kick and the dirty boxing.
Yeah. Yes.
Just got caught, and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, anyone can get caught. The only thing is the older you get and the more you get caught, the bigger your sweet spot. Yeah. And Benio is one of the toughest guys ever in his prime, or even slightly after it. The guy was just a killer. He, I think his two losses were against two of the best ever. Oliveira, who he had a good first round against.
Yeah.
And then he got caught by Sarukian, who's an absolute killer,
And then remember, he was meant to fight Makhachev before he broke his ankle as well. So
Beneil with a solid chin and a little bit quicker reflexes was a force. In all honesty, Beneil 5 years ago, when it might have happened 4 years ago against Makhachev, I'm not saying he's going to win, but he would have had a chance. Yeah. But now he just it's so tough, and the reality is all these fighters could still beat us in 10 seconds. So no shame. 5 seconds we might last. So Beneil until the day he dies would beat me in a fight, even though I'm substantially older than him. But even if I wasn't, he would still. And he's a great guy, and I hated to see it go that quick. But here's the thing. No one's really in a fight that he's got his wits about him. No one dominates him in a fight.
No.
No one's ever put a sustained beating on him. Any
No.
losses he got caught.
Yeah, being caught.
Yeah.
Am I speculating when I say this that he rarely comes in? Well, only the second time in his career he's coming overweight.
Yeah.
And he looked like he wanted to get the fight over with as soon as possible. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm purely speculating here, if there was something going on with him whereby he thought, I need to get this fight won quickly because I've not made the weight and I'm not at my maximum here.
Yeah, so here's what I feel. If you notice, a lot of UFC fighters, as they get on their mid-30s, will go up a weight class like Islam did, like Weili just did. Beneil has been 155 for, 18 years?
Yeah.
It's just a long time because your body changes and you get thicker.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, no problem for Beneil to make 155. I do believe in the last couple of years, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, he's a fairly big guy. He's a strong guy, professional athlete. He probably, I don't know, but I think he might be walking around at 193, 195.
That's a big cut.
Yeah, you know, whereas before he was probably walking around at 185. 187,
a big cut.
you know. Yeah, you know, it's a lot on the body as you get older, and but very, very courageous guy, and he's just a good man with
very good human
great
being,
spirit. Just you know, so he's going to be good, and you know, I hope that that he has some good things going on, and I don't know if he's going to continue from here, but I just, you know, I want to see the best for him. Huge respect to Beneil Dariush.
Yeah. And BSD did really well to close out the show as well. Did really well. So
yeah, the good old French. Back in the day before we had BSD and before we had Cyril Gahn, I used to say that in combat sports there really wasn't a great French fighter. There were French Canadian fighters.
Yeah. Obviously GSP and
GSP was there, and then kickboxing you had Jean-Yves Thériault and other people. But I remember really from France, the only guy that was really lighting it up in combat sports was Jerome Le Banner, who was a K1 fighter. And nowhere was there a fighter from France in kickboxing or in MMA that was really great. And I remember
now.
Yeah, there is now. But back then, for all my French friends, forgive me, but I used to say there's one tough guy coming out of France, Jerome Le Banner. And so respect to him. He still is a legendary fighter, almost K1 champion. But now it's great fighters out of France, and you know, definitely respect. BSD is a tough dude. So good one for him. And you know,
we'll quickly touch on the prelims. Obviously, Blanchfield beat Cortez by submission. RoboCop beat Kopylov.
Yeah, one thing on the Blanchfield fight. Did you read that there's some caption? I don't know if this is true or not, but someone put out a post that said Erin Blanchfield said she was no. Tracy Cortez, she said she was not prepared for the fight and just found out who her opponent was at the weigh-in face-off. That just
can't be true.
It can't be. I just can't.
That can't be.
That just seems absolutely insane.
Yeah, that can't be. Yeah, that
come
can't
on.
Be.
No, it just something's wrong with that. So,
then you had Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing on 48 hours notice was probably fight of the night.
Yeah.
Ewing did brilliant.
Yeah, Wellmaker is such a hyped fighter, you know, and a talented guy, but he came up a little bit short.
Ewing was just, he seemed to be the more experienced fighter, and then Bo Nickel bounced back with a KO victory over Rodolfo Vieira.
All of a sudden, Bo Nickel's got hands all of a sudden.
He's got hands and feet.
You know what it is, man? You know what I think? I have a feeling before the loss to RDR, Rainier de Ritter, or Rainier de Ritter. Before that, I think he was doing some training, but people were saying just get your jiu-jitsu sharp, you got your wrestling, get your hands okay, and you're going to be okay, which was the case up until he lost to RDR.
Yeah.
And then when he lost to RDR and he took all that heat, and everyone said he was a hype train, he sucks. I really have a feeling that he took the diligence that he's used and determination in his wrestling career since he was 5 years old and just said, you know what, I'm gonna train that striking.
Yeah.
And I'm going to train it, and I'm going to dedicate everything to getting to be a better striker.
Yeah.
And you could see that. Yeah, you could really see the results.
Yeah.
So I love it when someone comes back from the depths where everyone's clowning him. Not everyone, but all the jackasses that clown people. And literally he comes back in his very next fight and he's tremendously improved.
Literally.
So
really happy for him. Really happy for him.
Me too.
Just want to speak about the fight card coming up next week, just the co-main and main event, because these have massive implications on both weight classes. Ian Machado Gary going up against former champion Bilal Muhammad, and Arman Sarukian taking on Dan Hooker. We started the co-main event. How do you see this one going? And we've spoken about welterweights at length for obvious reason. Do you think if Ian Gary is able to get the win, that he actually gets the title shot next?
Gotcha. So Ian against Bilal. Good. I just looked at the clock on the wall, and we should wrap it up at 10 minutes before the hour if we can. So, do I think Gary gets the title shot next if he beats Bilal? I mean, I guess if Shavkat's still hurt, which it looks like he is, then yes. If Shavkat is ready, then Shavkat beat Gary, although that fight could have gone either way.
Yeah.
But I think if Shavkat's still hurt and he also was inactive, if Gary looks really impressive against Bilal, I could see it. But if Shavkat is still hurt, I think it has to. So then you're saying would Shavkat? Sorry, no, you're saying if Gary beats Bilal,
wins, does he get the title shot?
It
depends how he beats him, I suppose, doesn't it?
I guess. I would think with Shavkat out, he's next, unless Bilal beats him. But if Gary beats Bilal, I would say give it to Gary next. I guess so. I think so. You know what I mean? Yeah. But man, there's so many good fighters out there in that division.
Yeah, indeed.
Exciting.
And then finally, Sarukian versus Hooker. I mean, for me, Sarukian should be getting a title shot next with Ilia Topuria. This one's to just sort of rubber stamp it if he wins. But if he loses, it opens the division wide open with Hooker. Do you think Hooker can get it done, or do you think it should just be a good victory for Sarukian?
I think Sarukian wins that fight. Hooker is tough, though. Hooker is crafty. Sarukian, though, was in line for the title when he could not fight because of injury. It appears the UFC kind of held that against him and made him like a redheaded stepchild after that, as the old saying goes. And so I think he'll come back and win fairly convincingly, although I think Hooker will have his moments. But I think Sarukian's going in there to take care of business. I think Sarukian would have been really live against Makhachev, but I also think Sarukian is definitely live against Topuria.
Yes, I completely agree. Well, people, we're going to wrap this one up. Please do leave your comments in the comment section below. Also like the video and subscribe to both channels. Colin, always a pleasure. Or should I say, the professor? Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Absolutely, Sandman. You are the best. Callum Sanderson, the Sandman. Always a pleasure working with you, and always really enjoy it, brother.
Indeed. People, thank you all for watching and listening. It's been another episode of MMA from London to LA. Till we see you again, take care.
Peace.